Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. You?
And nice to have you on this channel. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to have you on my channel. So glad to have you here. Thank you.
It's okay.
If you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to the channel?
I'm Kendi Olapadi, short as Kenny Olapadi. I'm a nurse, a mother and a wife, and I'm also a blogger. So.
Aww. Okay, and what do you do for a living? Like, what's your profession?
Yeah, I'm a nurse. I currently work in a nursing home. I started working in the UK last year, but I've been a nurse for almost 10 years now.
Whoa, that's a long time. So since when have you been in the UK?
I came to the UK in 2013. Yeah.
Okay, but how come you just started working as a nurse last year, you said?
Yeah, when I came into the UK, I came with a visiting visa, and then I was supposed to go back because I had a job in Nigeria then. I was working in UCH, and I had a problem with my visa on arrival, and it took me years to be able to sort it out. So it was when I sorted out that I started doing my nursing exams, and then I got my PIN, and then last year I started working.
Okay, wow. So what part of the UK are you in? What part of the UK do you stay?
I live in Scotland. I live in Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay, and what can you tell us about the cost of living in Scotland? Like, how has it been generally living in Scotland?
I've only lived in Scotland. My husband and I, we used to live in Edinburgh we used to live in Edinburgh, and then we moved on to Glasgow. However, the cost of living in Scotland generally is not that bad. However, from city to city is different. Glasgow, I would say, is less expensive compared to Edinburgh. But you can't compare the cost of living in the whole of Scotland to England, to the best of my knowledge. I've never lived in England, but from the things I've heard, the cost of living in England is really, really high. But in Scotland, it's not that high. The accommodation is not that much that you can afford. Yeah, so that's the major thing, accommodation, to be honest. Like accommodation, when you're looking into a city to live in, it's mostly the accommodation and the cost of it that really, really like piques your interest to see, can I afford it? Can my job be able to pay for this accommodation while I'm left with so much after paying for it? So if I would say Scotland is not too bad to live in when it comes to accommodation, you know. The houses are not too expensive and the rent is not that bad.
So like about how much can I get like a 1-bedroom flat in Scotland? Like what's the price?
I've never got a 1-bedroom flat, but I would say you're looking in Glasgow. In Edinburgh is different. Edinburgh is expensive because as a tourist city, so it's really, really expensive. But in Glasgow you should be looking around £400, 350.
Wow, for 1-bedroom flat.
Yeah, it shouldn't be more than that. I've never got a 1-bedroom flat, but I'm thinking it shouldn't be more than that, you know.
Okay, but for like where you stay, would you like mind sharing it with us? Like where you stay, what's like
I live in a two-bedroom flat, and I've been living here for a really long time. And the monthly what's it called?
Rent.
The monthly rent is £450, so it's not that bad.
Jeez. Can I tell you, like, I currently stay in a 1-bedroom apartment and my rent is £750 per month.
Yeah, that's in England. I know rent is really expensive in England. Like when our friends come here in Scotland, like they're always in how cheap the rent is, and we're
it's really cheap. Wow.
Yeah, it's cheap, to be honest. It is.
Wow. So like what other bills do you pay? Like in England, we know there's a water bill, electricity, gas, and all. Do you also pay water bill in Scotland?
We don't pay water bill in Scotland. We only pay council tax, and the council tax is supposed to be added with the water bill. We've never paid water bill. It's just council tax. You pay council tax every month. If you're a student, you don't pay council tax. And then you pay for electricity, gas. If it's either you have electricity or gas, or you have both. So you pay for your energy, and you pay for broadband and TV. And I think that's it. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, TV license if you want to pay for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So have you changed the job since you started working in Scotland?
Before I got my nursing license, when I got my visa, like when I got my residency permit, I started working as home care, where you go to people's home to do like personal care and administer their medication and stuff like that. So I used to work as that, and I really, really liked it. So, and then when I got my nursing pin, the same job I'm doing now is the job I've been doing since last year. So I've not changed it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Another question is, like you said, you're a mother, right? Like you have kids, yeah? So what is the childcare in your area like? Like, do you pay somebody to stay with the children when they are not in school, or how do you just go about it?
To be honest, like I think anyone that comes outside of Nigeria and live on their own outside of Nigeria, and you're a mother, you can testify to how challenging childcare can be. And like for someone like me, I've only got my husband and we've got 3 little children, and it's kind of challenging finding the right childcare. And I work mostly night shifts. I've only worked day shifts for a couple of months, but I've always worked like night shifts, and it's kind of easier. I won't say easier, but it's a bit easier because most of the time during the day I'm around. However, at night my husband is around to look after them. If my husband is not, we have someone that comes into the house to stay with them if my husband is not around at night and I'm working. But most times my husband is around at night, so it just looks after them when I go to work. Yeah, but it's before we found that woman, it was really, really challenging getting someone to stay with your kids, especially at night, And for my friends that work during the day, there is lockdown now. Most of them are working from home, but before they work from home, it used to be really, really like when they were going to work during the day and they had to leave their kid with someone. It was really, really expensive for them. Like a chunk of their salary was going towards childcare, but because I was doing night shifts, no, that wasn't me, because mostly my husband would be around at night to look after them, But now I'm trying to go back to day shift. I'm just gonna see if I can find someone to look after them when I'm going to work and my husband is not around as well, because night shift is killing me.
I know. So like about how much do you pay this person that stays with them? Like
she stays with 3 of them, and we pay her is 30 or 40 pounds per night. It's not bad.
Just for one night, yeah.
Yeah, for one night.
Not so bad actually.
No, not too bad.
Okay. Like I kind of know you through social media, and I know that you do a lot of blogging and pictures, social media, influencing and things like that. So like, how do you really cope with these things? You also have a YouTube channel, right? So how do you cope with family, work, YouTube? I mean, all those things. I'm still trying to balance all these things, but I really don't know how you cope with everything.
To be honest, it's not easy. It's draining. It is extremely, extremely draining. Before I started working as a nurse, I was blogging and doing YouTube, and I was really, really committed to it because I didn't have any other thing I was doing than being a mother, being a wife, and doing blogging and YouTube. But now that I've started working, it is extremely, extremely difficult. Like for months now, I've not posted on my YouTube channel, and for months before that, I would only post about twice a month, because even finding the energy to film, it's so difficult, and sitting down for hours to edit, like I would be thinking, I'm not making that much from here. If I'm spending 3 hours to edit, if I use that 3 hours to work, I know how much I'm going to be making. But because of the passion I do have for blogging and vlogging, I don't mind at times, but most times it does bother me because it takes so much of your energy. Like it's a passion. I love it. I love taking photos. I love filming videos. I love sharing everything and anything, but it is extremely time consuming. And if you're not like, and to be honest, of late, I don't have any zeal at all. Like there is no zeal. I don't even have any inspiration from anywhere to sit down and pick up a camera to film. I know my camera is going to be as dusty as anything now. But I've been focused more on my Instagram because although I'm not creating content on my YouTube and my blog has been dragging, so I've been focused more on my Instagram. What I did recently is that I got a photographer, which we have like maybe once or twice a month session, and I just have like bulk photos that I can post. So with that, I'm still like being afloat with content creation, and I can just chunk out content every now and then. But with YouTube and blog, I don't know when I'm going to get that energy back. But I think it's because I'm worn out from so many night shifts. That's what I'm trying to see. If I go back to day shift, then I'm going to get my energy back, and then I'm going to have that energy and pour it into filming and blogging again, because I do like blogging and I do like filming, but it's just that there's no energy and it's just
Training.
but it's just before what I used to do is that I would plan ahead. Like I would say, okay, on Monday I would film 2 videos and then I would edit it over 2 weeks. I would put out 1 video per week, or at times I would like write 1 or 2 blog posts and then I would stagger it that, okay, this week I'm going to put out a video, the following week I'm going to put out the blog post. But right now I've just been like in a very stuck mood because I've got little to no energy to even pick up a camera or write blog post. Mm-hmm. It's not easy, to be honest. It is extremely, extremely challenging. It's not easy.
Okay, so what can you say about like working in Nigeria and then working in the UK? Like, okay, before I left Nigeria, I used to hear that, okay, it's usually 1 nurse to 2 or 3 patients, or 1 nurse to 1 patient. That was what I usually hear. But
is it here or in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Okay, like what people say about here in Nigeria. And yeah, I know people used to say, oh, it's about that the maximum you would get is 1 to 6 patients or 1 to 5 patients. Nah, it's all lies. It's all like when I used to work in Nigeria, I worked in UCH private suits, and it was like, I wouldn't say the easiest job, but when it comes to patient allocation, it was the easiest I had it. Like then in a shift, I would have 3 patients. The maximum I would have would be 5 patients when I was working in Nigeria in private suits. So it was kind of easy, although it was busy because it was a very challenging unit. You have to like run around meeting necessary and unnecessary needs. But when I came here, like I said, this is the first job I'm doing, and I work in a nursing home, and I have like a 30-bedded unit, and it's only 1 nurse per unit. So you have like 30 residents to 1 nurse, which is extremely draining. Like it's so draining. You're doing medication for 30 people. You're doing rounds for 30 people. I've never worked in a hospital here, but when my friends that work in hospitals, they do have like 1 nurse to 12 patients, which to me is too much, especially with my experience as a bedside nurse. Like I said, I used to work in private suits, and the most patients I had as a bedside nurse with like clinicals, where you apply like clinical skills and all that, is just about five patients the most. So I don't think that is what has been like scaring me to go to the hospital, because I feel like, am I going to cope when I'm assigned to about 12 patients when I'm only used to like, do you understand me? But I feel like I'm still going to cope because right now I'm tending to 30 residents, although most of them don't have like challenging needs that you'll find as in a hospital. You would maybe probably have about 1 or 2 residents that you would need close observation and monitoring for throughout a shift. You know, like hospital, that when you get 6 patients, you're going to have at least 3 or 4 people that would need close monitoring and observation. You get so.
Okay.
But the lies that were told in Nigeria, I feel like things were exaggerated in Nigeria.
Exactly.
They make nursing here seem like it's easier than Nigeria. I say it, nursing everywhere is the same thing. It just depends on the setting you find yourself. Like nursing everywhere, it's the same thing. There's not so much difference from nursing in Nigeria and nursing in, not so much difference. It just depends on the setting you find yourself and the availability of, like, what do I say, this things, like the things you would need to be a nurse, like the things that I feel like are like the constricting factor. Being a nurse in Nigeria is not bad. Like being a nurse in Nigeria is, I don't want to say is easy, it's easier, but it's kind of easier because you don't have people scrutinizing you all the time, you know. And most often the way patients treat nurses in Nigeria, they treat you as a mini god. Like they're always so thankful, they're always so appreciative.
Really?
Maybe it's where I work.
Yeah, I think
like,
it's your personal experience.
When I used to work with, like, they were always, although some of them can be so arrogant and so disrespectful because of the kind of people they are. However, most often they are always very thankful. They're always very, very appreciative. But here, they like, it's not even the patient here, it's the people, like the management here. It's so scrutinizing compared to Nigeria. Like Nigeria, lots of people make lots of mistakes and they just say, oh, you better not do that, just call it to the officer, don't do that anymore. But here the slightest mistake is picked up and then you are not being punished, but you're just being made to know that you made this mistake, you're not allowed to make this mistake, and then you just go through series of things. But in Nigeria, lots of people, nurses make lots of mistakes that they just call you to the office and say, oh, you're not allowed to. At times there is no even like incident report or anything on any mistake. It's just your boss, maybe she peradventure hear about it, I'll just call you into the office. Oh, did you do that? You're not supposed to do that, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question is like, what can you say your mistakes when you first came into the UK? Like, what mistakes did you make? And now that you're already in the system, that you feel like, I would not do this again. Like, if I'm given the opportunity, I would not do this again.
To be honest, I think I've spoke about it as well on my channel when it comes to making a mistake when you go to foreign land. Especially like for me personally, the mistake I made when I first came here, like I told you, I came with a visiting visa and expected I was supposed to go back. I was pregnant with my twins then, so I was supposed to go back and then put in my papers and then come here as a resident. But unfortunately for me, when I come, I was pregnant with my twins. It was about 20 weeks old. And you know how a 20 weeks old twin pregnancy would look. I looked like huge. And then when I got to the airport, the border officer, whatever they're called, it just stopped me and was like, oh, you're heavily pregnant. And I said, yeah, I'm just 20 weeks. But I don't know why he didn't believe I was 20 weeks, even though I told him I was like having twins. So he seized my passport and I didn't want to just go back to Nigeria with my passport being seized, because that would mean like I was deported, because he believed that I was coming into the country to have my child or children, and then I would just use that to stay. But I just said no, like I have my job in Nigeria and I only took about 10 days leave. I was only supposed to be gone for 10 days and then resume my job back. I said no, I have my job in Nigeria, I'm only here for 10 days and blah blah blah. So because of that, when I got in the system, I wasn't even bothered about that. I had to resign from my job, and then I put in my papers then to even just get residency permit, since that was happening. However, unfortunately for me, the lawyer I was introduced to, he didn't know much about, like, most often when you come into UK, at times your situation would determine what type of visa you would get. So I believe he didn't know much about my situation. So he was thinking I was trying to get asylum or something. And I wasn't trying to get asylum. I just wanted a residency permit, because then my husband was British then. So I was just trying to say, okay, it's even easier now. I'm in the system. I can just use that to get my residency permit on my husband and my children. They're British then. But no, the lawyer I used just took like the longest route, and then it was taking me years and years and years for my case to be heard, because it was taking it through, like I was trying to seek asylum, which that wasn't it. So when it was taking me years and I was just so fed up with it, oh, we're going to get it sorted the next time, then I got another lawyer, and within a few months, it resolved it. So based on my own personal experience, to be honest, if you find yourself in a similar situation where you feel like your residency is going to be dragging, if you feel you need a lawyer to put your case in or whatever, I would advise you to know what type of person you're getting. Like, don't just get an immigration lawyer. Make sure you get someone that's got enough experience to deal with your type of case, because the person might be an immigration lawyer, but he may have like zero experience when it comes to maybe you getting your papers or your residency through other means. It may just be used to just one means, and it will be taking you through that means, and it may take forever, like mine. So that's the only mistake I made, to be honest. It's not getting the right lawyer at the right time, which made getting my residency permit longer than necessary, like taking years. What could have taken months was just taking years and was so dragging. So yeah, that's it.
And yeah, I think those are the questions I have for now. If do you have any other thing to share with us before we conclude the video?
To be honest, not so much to share, but I feel like when people are coming into the UK, people overthink things. Like from my DM and the comments I get on my videos, I feel like people just overthink things. Like things are simple. I won't say things are simple, because when I was doing my, what's it called? When I was getting my nursing pin, I wasn't going through like getting my nursing pin and getting my visa through that. Like I said, I got my visa through my husband and my children. But I feel like people complicate things when you're applying to come into the UK, or when you're trying to put your papers in to get your PIN. I believe from my own experience and in my own opinion that things are simplified enough on the NMC website. But like when you go to an NMC website, they will tell you all you need is one, make sure you have the IELTS, two, do your CBT, three, have a sponsor, like someone that is employing you and is ready to sponsor you to come into the UK. You know, like those three things are simple. It may not seem simple for other people, but in my own opinion, they are simple enough. So when you're coming into the UK, just first make sure that you have the IELTS done, and then put in for sponsor. Because the type of messages I get, people ask like, if I get my sponsor, will I be working in a hospital or in a nursing home, or will they be paying me this much or this much? And I feel like you're overthinking things. Like when you're thinking all these things, these are the factors that will like mitigate. You're thinking about like 10 factors that would mitigate against you coming here. However, you're not looking at about 10 factors that would help you coming here. Like you're thinking about what type of job you would be doing, and all that, in my own opinion, is secondary. Maybe it's just me, it is secondary. Like either you work in a nursing home, either you work in a hospital, you can change your job anytime. That's the beauty of the UK. Like if I say I don't want to work with my employer today, I can decide to say, okay, I want to go work for in a hospital. I can say, okay, the nursing home I'm working right now, it's no longer favorable for me. I want to go somewhere else. So it's like the dynamism of how quickly you can change your job. Like you can even change, I can decide I don't want to live in Scotland anymore. I want to go to England. Like those things are secondary. The main focus that I feel like people don't take really serious, and they focus too much. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm being selfish thinking like that, especially because of the type of messages I get. is that people don't focus more on the getting their exams sorted and getting all the papers they would need. They focus more on, maybe because I've been living, oops, my camera's almost falling. Because I've been living here for a while and I've had enough experience. But I just feel like people focus so much on where to live and where to work than actually taking that time to prepare for their exams or whatever they do. It's just my own personal opinion, you know, based on the messages I get. Yeah, yes. Like you can change your job anytime. You can change your wherever you want to live anytime. It's secondary, in my own opinion. Yeah. So that's it.
And lastly, sorry. So you said you've been here since 2013, and if I count well, that's about 7 years plus. So now I'm thinking like you should have your ILR, if I'm right, or do you?
What's ILR?
Indefinite leave to remain, or are you a citizen? Have you applied for your citizenship already?
No. I do not have my citizenship yet. Like I told you before, I got my first residency permit was 20. When was that? It was 2.5 years last year, so it's almost 3 years. It's almost 3 years now. Ooh. So it's almost 3 years now. I think it was in 2018 or something, maybe misunderstood. So before I would get my indefinite leave to remain, it's still going to take me a while because I'm using the spousal route, which is with my husband, so I'm using the spousal route, which is 5 years. So in a couple of years, by God's grace, I'll get my indefinite leave to remain, but I've not got it right now.
Okay, thank you so much for gracing this channel. Like, I'm so happy. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Thank you so much. Say bye to the channel because I'm
you take care now. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.